There.
Okay, sweet. Well, welcome to the dialogue, New Thought Dialogue, which will certainly be new today. We have a small group and we might have some more people joining us. But today's conversation is open to whatever we want to talk about. So I will try and be quiet and let um, Julia, if you'd like to wait or start, you're welcome to share a word or two about
Yeah,
yourself.
I let Mary Sabai know we were doing that. Has she ever come?
Yes, she has.
Okay.
Just a couple
Um,
couple times.
she and I were supposed to go to the movies today, and she wasn't feeling real well, and so we're not going, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here. Um, and I let her know we were meeting, so she may join us later. But what I wanted to share is this book. Can you see it? It's called A Search for Truth. I Rest My Case. My Journey to Being Unchurched. And it's by Al Versalino, who was a principal of mine when I taught school in Charlotte. Um, I didn't work specifically for him, but he was in the district. And when I substitute taught, when I first moved there, I got to know him and I always liked him. And we lost touch. He retired. He's a bit older than I am. And he moved down, he and his wife moved down to Key West. And he moved back. His wife died. And he's now in somewhere like near Lake Orion, near Detroit area. Um, and he researched this book for 10 years. And it's not
Wow.
real long. It's a quick read, a lot of research here, like about 90 pages. And I'm just going to read to you what he wrote, what's written on the back of it. It's kind of a good summary.
Great.
It says the author's lifelong search for the truth about Christianity contains information you won't learn in church. There is no other book like it on the market. It's an easy read yet thorough. It's written to appeal to anyone looking for answers about Christianity, whether they go to church on a regular basis or never attend church. The author's mission is to help people who don't embrace Christianity to better understand why they might have made that decision and feel okay about it. For those who embrace the faith, it provides insight into how Christians can learn from the past and be a better force for good in the future. It's a must read for anyone seeking the truth about Christianity. Proceeds from the sale of the book will be donated to food banks. And when I read it, it's like with every page I'm saying, yeah, yeah. He researched how Christianity through the centuries has, he feels, has done more to harm the human race than to help it. He talks about the Spanish Inquisition, the Crusades, more into our lives, well, not our lives, but recent future, how Nazism was originally based on Christianity. I think they originally called themselves the Christian Party or whatever. That was part of their name. Um, and another thing he does, he goes through the Bible, and in the Gospels, after Jesus was born, there are a lot of contradictions. They were written, of course, after his life, and it's been a while since I read it, or I would tell you what the contradictions are. Um, and he also talks about Catholicism and how they have been more harm. He feels more harm than they should have been. But
Hmm.
It's really an interesting book, and I totally recommend it. Al, the author, Al Versalino, he has cancer. He has lung cancer that spread to his brain, but and they told him he would be gone a while back, but he's still alive and doing well. Here's a photo of him, a recent photo.
Huh.
So anyway, um, I would recommend it to anybody who has doubts what's about Christianity or their own religion, wondering, if they're doing, if they should be questioning their
Mhm.
religion or not. So,
Well, I appreciate that. That's very timely, and I think fits with this theme of exploring different ideas and perspectives. And I also like you mentioning the fact that he brings together sort of the those with the faith and those new thought folks, and where there might be some similarities or some misunderstandings.
yeah, he has a son actually who's a Christian minister. And they, of course, they get along pretty well, but they've agreed to disagree on a lot of things. Um, what's interesting too, I just turned to this page randomly. It says to give the reader a better understanding of the religious diversity in the world, I've included a chart showing the breakdown of the world's religions. Oh, by the way, this was written, was published in 2024.
Wow.
Um, Now, this kind of surprises me because he has 33%, and it goes from the highest percentage to the lowest religions in the world. 33% Christians, 20% Muslims, 13% Hindus, 12% non religious, 6% Chinese folk, whatever that is, 10% Buddhists, 4% not religionists, 2.5% atheists, 0.4 Sikhs. Oh, and then at the very bottom, 0.2% Jews.
Hmm.
And then he says, in conclusion, it would be nice if all religions would do more to unite us rather than divide and serve as our conscience to help us do what's right. We know that hasn't been the case. Um, so anyway,
Wow, that's a
you can just,
powerful message.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, I've been doing a little soul searching, about these podcasts. Obviously there has been interest, but what are the themes, or what's the message or the purpose of showing up here once a month? What do we want to talk about? What can we learn from each other? I still feel like this format can be um, an opportunity to connect people across different beliefs and interests. And yeah, but where we take this and how it connects, another issue is like how it might connect with the fellowship. For
Mm-hmm.
example, one thing that comes to mind is maybe some of the speakers, obviously some of the speakers who have spoken at fellowship have been at these conversations. But can these conversations be a preview to an upcoming fellowship discussion, or can we have a better connection? Because there's just a lot of overlap between interests.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and is there a way that a podcast idea could maybe provide just a little more accessible format for people who can't make a weekly service? Um, or how do we capture some of the knowledge that's shared through maybe a deeper conversation once
Yeah.
a month or once a week with some of these other folks who are tuning in?
I really, and one of the, I think maybe the first one of these that I came to was, and I can't think of her name, Sharon, somebody, the minister of unity gave a PowerPoint. I forget what was it on Timothy, uh, the lost book, the
Gospel of,
gospel. Yeah, the Gospel of Timothy. I think it was Timothy. Was it Timothy? Well,
um,
his gospel wasn't included in the Bible, and
yeah, that,
yeah, hers to me was more of a lesson, not so much in faith, but just kind of a historical lesson, which I enjoyed. She's very thorough. You know, she had her PowerPoint, and you could tell she had done her research. But it to me also it said, you know, there's more than just what's in the Bible, what was included in the Bible. There are other um, I don't want to say gospels, but historians that wrote that were not included. Of course, I knew that anyway, but um, so we shouldn't limit
hmm.
ourselves to just what's there and what to believe.
Yeah, Sharon Ketchum.
Ketchup,
Um,
that's right.
yeah,
I'll remember it because of ketchup. I wonder if she likes ketchup.
that was a fascinating talk. And one, I think she did her master's thesis on it,
Oh yeah.
which just well researched and very fascinating and kind of sad that we've lost some of these key parts of our heritage or ignored some of these other gospels that have just have fill out some of our understanding a bit.
Yeah, I would like, you know, she gave us some titles of books that she used, and I didn't write them down or anything, but yeah, there's probably a lot out there that we don't know. Well, I know that, but um,
I will share the playlist in case you want to sort of revisit some of those. And
oh, that's nice.
if I can figure out how to do this. I don't use Zoom as quite as much as I used to. Oh, there it is, the chat window.
So, are we on Zoom or Google Meet? I noticed it said Google something. There's a format called Google Meet that's like Zoom
This is Zoom.
because some people use Google Meet. I was just wondering. I saw Google in there.
I'm certainly not wedded to Zoom. I do have a subscription, which has been helpful, but I don't use Zoom as much as I used
Yeah.
to. I think it's amazing that we have these formats available to us at virtually very little cost.
Oh, I do too. What would we have done during COVID without it? That's when I got a subscription to it. I've since ended it, but yeah, I was in a ukulele group that met weekly. Well, Marge, who's in our little Peace Quest thing, she helped form that. She's good at Zoom and technology. Um, yeah, would so many people would have been left out. Yeah, it would have been bad. Bad news.
The sound recording and playback video audio has been improved dramatically too. I'm kind of curious how to try out. I organized a virtual open mic
Yeah.
back during COVID,
Mm-hmm.
and the sound was questionable. Um, but I think they've got new filters and technology that helps you capture a
Mm-hmm.
better audio, and I'd like to
Do you,
try that out.
do you know who Jack Nolish is?
No,
He leads these monthly ukulele strums. He's been doing it for years. And during COVID, we all met on Zoom. And we took turns leading songs, and he would get the playlist and give it to all and send it to all of us so we could sing along. Of course, when the person led it, they would be the only person, that we could hear. But what he's tried to do, and I kind of feel bad for him, since I want to say for the since past year, he's tried to do it so that he used to meet at the Okemos Library. We would go there, and there's a room there, and this is pre-COVID, and we'd sing songs and stuff like that. And then during COVID, he did the Zoom thing, and now he's trying to do a hybrid of it where people that can't come, they may be like, we have people all over the world actually. They come and join us on Zoom, but then those of us that want to can go to the library. And why I'm bringing this up, um, every month it seems to me something comes up that we can't access the sound for the people on Zoom. They'll start singing and we can't hear them. But he works so hard. He goes an hour and a half before we start at 10:30, and he sets up everything, tries to get the Zoom together, and I don't think time has gone by when something goes wrong and he has to redo it or whatever. So I wish it were better.
When we started doing these open mics, not to get too far off subject, but
Mhm.
I ended up doing a 2-minute tutorial on how to um, do your settings. Now, I'm sure those settings have changed dramatically, but
Yep.
it's helpful to have people who know what they're doing
Yes.
involved. Because you certainly, I was doing it, you can't sing together because there's a delay, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
one wants to cancel the other out. But maybe that's changed now.
Well,
Um,
when we started doing Zoom, that Marge did weekly, actually, we did it weekly. We were told different things like go up to the sound, make sure you've got um, sound on this computer. I mean, there are different things that we were told, and for the most part, it worked, and we were doing total Zoom. But when Jack tries to do this thing where it's live and Zoom, it's hard. It's
yeah,
hard.
yeah. Well, just coming back to the general conversation, I think it's really cool that you have been involved with the fellowship for decades
Oh yeah.
and have been supported these interesting new thought conversations and people and been just a model citizen for as a good listener and a good contributor as you're doing today. Um,
Well, and your family has been, your mother was involved from, when did she join? Do you remember?
oh, it was right at the beginning, I
Oh,
think,
okay.
or soon after.
Yeah,
Almost 40 years now. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah,
We're
she
com-
still tunes in occasionally.
oh, I bet. I bet. Yeah, she was cool. I so admired her going to the hospital, playing for kids, um, and even just, with, I'm not sure what her disability was, but she just kept up as long as she could. But yeah, I joined fellowship, I think the second year. Oh, I joined in 1988. I remember that when they were still over at the UU church.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
the
Well,
first, go on.
oh no. Um,
Well, the first time I went, actually, Jean Herford told me about it. We were connected from teaching, and the very first service I went to, Beth Monteith was getting ordained as minister. And I remember her son Jordan, he was about 4 years old, running around the sanctuary in his Superman outfit. But yeah, it was the very first time Beth getting ordained.
wow.
And weren't you in the school of ministry?
I was, yeah. And I started going to Unity back in 82 or 3 or 4. here and there, not super regular.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then got less, took a big break, probably during my early child rearing days, but sort of generally stayed connected. And
Mm-hmm.
I just love Beth and really enjoyed her talks and her meditations in particular. And yeah, and all the different people who've come through, I just feel like I've learned a lot from that experience. And I continue to learn from that experience. And yeah, just kind of curious how some of these new technologies could be, they're not new anymore, but
Mm.
can maybe help amplify this new thought messages. And I know there's this fellowship, there's also other groups that might also, or that have been participating through Unity or
Mm-hmm.
um, Kurt Scholler, for example, has done one on meditation. And there's just a lot, there are a lot of people. And now you can reach people around the world with a conversation.
Oh,
I,
yeah.
I was talking with my son and daughter, Molly and Solomon, today. Um, they called to wish me a happy birthday.
Oh, is
It
it
was,
your birthday today?
it was yesterday actually, but
Oh,
I had
happy
this
late birthday.
was busy at uh, music all day yesterday. But thank you.
Yeah.
But they were saying the podcast is another idea that might be interesting to pursue with these talks. Because, for example, I could interview you anytime that we could get together, and you could share. Um, maybe you're talking about the search for truth,
Mm-hmm.
or some other topic that you're familiar or just interested in. We could meet, have this conversation, and share it anytime.
Yeah.
It wouldn't necessarily have to be a dialogue at noon on the second Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We could do that with other speakers or topics. So maybe there's different ways of organizing um, that could be more accessible and even more fun and fit with people's schedules
Yeah.
better.
Yeah. You could tape it anytime and people could watch it anytime, right?
Yeah.
If you had a podcast, gave it a name. Do you have,
Mhm.
when you do podcasts, do you have to pay for those?
Not necessarily.
Oh,
Um, my son has done a lot more than I have, and my daughter has listened to tons of them.
oh yeah.
But I mean, this Zoom tool is just one. I don't know if it cost me 20 bucks, $15 a month or
Yeah,
something, or
not that much.
but yeah, I mean, the fact that we can have a recording and share it, um, and we can see each other, and we can share, I could even share video, or we could bring other guest speakers in.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where it's all going. But that's one of the things I wanted to generally talk about. Um, is like, what are some ideas for future podcasts or discussions or other formats that we might use?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I like that idea. I want to go back to Unity though. Do you remember Barb Kruger?
mhm.
She used to have weekly, back in the 90s, she would have weekly book discussions. I think they were called Lessons on Life or whatever. And it was when I was first starting to get into New Thought. And she was something else. When she spoke, it's like everybody listened. She was just so, I thought she was so wise. Um, and what she first said, a few things that I quote from her. Every time you laugh, you give yourself a dose of health. I've tried to embrace that. Um, and she was the first person that I heard say that. God, and I think she used the word God. God is a nucleus of a circle that exists everywhere, or something like that. The center of a the center of a circle that is everywhere, which means he's everywhere. It's no big deal. Or she. Um,
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So it's kind of an expansive,
yeah, yeah.
inclusive idea.
Beth Monteith had picked it up too, and I forget the exact quote. But anyway, every once in a while, she would just drop things, and I'd think, "Oh yeah, that is so cool." She's not with us anymore, but
Do you
you know who?
remember? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Rex Montague Bauer?
No, no, but I kind of know who he is. He's still around, isn't he?
He is. Solomon, my son, ran into him at a wedding last week. And anyway, I ended up giving him a call, and he might potentially be a speaker. He's done
Oh
a
yeah.
lot with a variety of sort of practices. And
Uh-huh. So is he still in the area?
yes, I believe so. Yeah. I just communicated on email, but I'm pretty sure I didn't confirm that he's still in the same location, but he has a similar email.
Well, I'll tell you, the fellowship has been in contact with so many people, uh, s- spiritual teachers, actually. Um, be nice I'd love to just see, well, there probably is a record somewhere of everybody. I think he spoke at fellowship a few times way back.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, yeah, we are so fortunate. I'm just impressed that we've been able to stay alive as a group. And I think Mary Sabai has something to do with that, or a lot to do with it now. But so many, well, like in Unity, there have been part people that have broken away a few times. Fellowship was one, and then a couple times after that, people have broken away because they were not satisfied, with what was going on. Now, with fellowship, if people aren't satisfied, they probably just quit, don't come back. But we've been able to hold together a small core of people that just believe in keeping it together and have grown together and we try to and the operative word is try to follow the core principles of what, and I'm not saying we should follow fellowship's principles specifically, but follow our own hearts, which seems to have worked for me so far in my life.
I love that. I love the idea of getting at some of those core beliefs that bind us together, the things that
Mm-hmm.
we agree on or closely align on, versus, we also spend a lot of time in our worlds talking about what divides us.
Yeah. When people ask about the fellowship, I say it's more of an um, interreligious, interspiritual group where we accept everybody. And I even say, and I'm in the past, I know we've had atheists and agnostics. You can be anybody and come to fellowship and get what you want out of it. I don't know about you, but I'm not a big Course in Miracles person. Um, I was in Science of Mind for a while, but I just feel like you could be whatever you want, and I'm comfortable being there, being myself too.
Hmm. Well, that aspect of community is one of the principles, I think, and it's a powerful thing, like that brings us together, heals us.
Hmm.
but also affirms our differences too,
Right.
in some ways, and our diversity.
Yeah, I say that when people ask, I say we're more interfaith, interfaith. You can, be what you want. And also for those of us that don't have immediate family in the area, we do, fellowship has had like Thanksgiving meals and Christmas get-togethers and things that bring us closer, I think.
Mhm. I have not really made a direct connection necessarily with these dialogues and the fellowship, because definitely accept the fellowship and have been enriched by the fellowship, and
Hmm.
a lot of the fellowshipians have come to these, but um, and maybe it is time to make a stronger connection, or I'm not sure where this is all
Well,
going.
yeah. Have you, yeah, maybe you could make some you could put it in the announcements that this is here too. Um, do you know anybody who's Christian Science? Now they're New Thought, right? Christian Science.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the distinctions come in more specifically, but I would definitely um, consider them a non-traditional Christianity, perhaps.
Yeah, yeah. Haiti, who was their leader? It was a woman. But anyway, I just found out that a friend of mine, she's not a close friend, but who I know is excuse me, is Christian Science. And I don't know if she goes to the church here in East Lansing, but um, I do accept a lot. I don't know about you, but I accept a lot of healing. I believe that we are capable of healing ourselves through what I do for myself. If I feel, and I haven't been sick in a long, long time, if I feel something coming on, and this goes along with Christian Science, I think, like say a cold or something, I just visualize my heart sending that healing energy to wherever I feel like I need it. And when I meditate, I do that too.
Hmm.
And it's worked when I taught school. You're exposed to everything.
Mhm.
It worked when I taught school, unless I wanted a day off or so. But I do visualize healing energy going from my heart. We are capable. In fact, we heal ourselves more than we would like to admit,
I
both
would agree.
physically and spiritually and mentally. I feel.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, that brings up another idea, is like having different speakers that represent different faiths. Um, as part of
Hmm.
the conversation. Like next week, we hear from a Christian Scientist, or next month, a
Yeah.
Baha'i, or a Buddhist.
Did
Uh,
Barb Seiler, didn't she speak on the Baha'i faith here on this format?
she talked about the Course in Miracles.
Oh yeah, I know she's into Course in Miracles too.
I don't know if that was a part of this or part of the School of Ministry. I
Oh
know that's a good question. I know she talked about it at the School of Ministry because that's where she is connected, I think, or
yeah,
has been connected.
yeah, I know she did with the School of Ministry, but it seemed like she addressed that or the Baha'i faith on on this program too. This on your
It might have been a premonition of things to come.
Oh, okay.
No, she's been involved and may have brought it up, but I don't recall a specific presentation in the last year or so. Um, but open to ideas. And another idea that came up is like say if we do just a podcast, which could be two of us, or you could have one person and a co-host.
Well, you would
Or
be the host or co-host. You would be the host.
not necessarily. I mean, I'm happy to fill that role, but but anyway, yeah, the idea of a co-host could be fun and a little less threatening than trying to have a monologue with with another person. I don't know how you feel about having like if there was another person, you and I, for example, were interviewing Barb about Baha'i. I find it a little bit more a smoother conversation if there's more than one person just asking the questions.
Yeah, so like there'd be three of us, two co-hosts, interviewing one person.
That was one idea that came
Yeah,
up.
I could see that.
Or we could have 10 co-hosts grilling. No, I'm
That's
just kidding.
called a
Just kidding.
panel. Oh dear. Yeah.
Anyway, there are lots of possibilities, and the other thing that's been an interesting discussion occasionally is how much do you pre-plan a conversation or a dialogue, and how much do you just let it
Mm.
emerge? I've been involved with a sustainable community dialogue for several years, not
Mhm.
anymore, but there's something magical about just throwing it open to people. And what do you want to talk about today? And what are some of the things you're interested in chatting with? And oftentimes, what happened in those conversations, which had evolved over time, there's a certain level of trust and spontaneity that people knew about, and um, but also they knew that it was important to listen and to share and not have a monologue. But there's a certain amount of magic that comes out in the moment for something that's not pre-planned.
Mhm.
It's a spontaneous conversation. And
Yeah,
maybe
kind of like what we're doing right now.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um, but organizing that every week can be a challenge, and it becomes. I'd rather it not become work, rather just. But maybe it's just reaching a critical mass of people that know about it and want to show up because they're enthusiastic about hearing what's on people's minds. And
Yeah. Maybe if you don't have like next month or whenever this is monthly, next month you could just throw it out there. Unless you have somebody, just throw it out there. Come and join us and join in the discussion, and we can explore many avenues of spirituality or that kind of a thing.
mhm. Well, thanks for the encouragement. I'm open to pretty much anything. And another thing is we don't have to fill an entire hour. We can, um,
Oh yeah,
especially since it's just two of us,
sure, and that's
we,
fine,
um,
fine too.
but it's sort of what I was hoping for this month, and that's what we got, I guess. Just an open free-flowing conversation. I
So
think
you work with sustainability.
I have,
Yeah. So
and
tell me more about that. What is that? Is that Earth's, well, just tell me.
well, for the last 17 years or so, when I was working with Meridian Township, um, I attempted to do something similar to what we're doing today, but I was also part of a community group. So there was an energy group, an energy interest group, and there was a green team, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that started with trying to get recycling going in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember Tina Khan?
Oh yeah.
Tina actually was responsible for creating the position that I ended up being in for about 16
Oh,
years.
wow.
Which started as recycling coordinator, but grew into more of a sustainability theme. And so all things green. And so it was really a nice experience just working with citizens, most of which were members of the Meridian Township or surrounding communities that wanted to do green things. Um, and some of that was related to recycling events. In the last few years, we've had a kind of a series of green presentations and
Hmm.
um, workshops. Um, with the farmers market, we were able to either have a table at the market where we talked about native planting or
Hmm.
um, solar energy or um, just a variety of topics. So sustainability itself might relate to air, water, land, plants.
Sure.
A lot of it is focused on residential, like what you can do in your home or
Hmm.
your workplace to reduce your impact, to recycle more, reduce waste,
Yep.
reduce pollution, um, and that
I
type of
love
thing.
it. That's great. Um, oh, when you were talking, it made me think of something that, and I've lost it. If it comes back, I'll let you know.
What I would, what I was sort of hoping when I retired was to hand off the sustainability coordinator, green coordinator position to somebody else. And township assigned a person to the next recycling event, but they don't haven't really hired a sustainability coordinator person.
So your position was created for you, right?
Yeah,
And you,
it was
yeah,
to do a recycling
yeah,
program,
yeah.
and then it sort of evolved a little bit. There's a lot of people that are involved with green things and sustainability related topics
Hmm.
now, more so than there were 15 years ago. But
Well, can I ask you something about recycling? It was on the news years ago, well, not a long time ago, but a few years ago, that we sent a lot of our recycling to China and they're not taking it anymore. So a lot of what we think is recycled really isn't recycled.
yeah,
Is that true?
yeah, and I don't know the exact statistics, but it's kind of the dark side of recycling that I think we're largely in denial about because and there are solutions that are emerging and there are positive practices that are coming out, but that's been one of the ongoing topics at our green team. We have a monthly green team meeting, which continues. Um, there are groups that have been spawned, so to speak. There's a new group that is working on recyclable, reusable containers and getting those out to people and getting people who will use them and buy them and um, integrate them into their policies and their programs.
Well, I'll tell you what I will not use anymore. And Julie Dillon and I kind of get into it when they want to provide drinks is bottled water. There's so much, that the whole ocean thing and all the plastic, that plastic takes
Yeah,
the ocean.
yes.
Um, yeah, reusable plastic. I could get into that.
Yeah, and some of that is like recycling styrofoam, for example.
Yeah.
It's possible to do it, and people do it, and it might make environmental sense. It's hard to get the lowdown when you figure all the inputs and outputs of a comprehensive recycling program. Um, sometimes it's just better not to use it or
Right,
not to buy it
right.
or to think of ways to, um, alternatives.
Sure.
And
Totally.
I guess I've learned enough in working in this area that it's not black or white. A lot of people would like to see something in terms of right or wrong. But for example, styrofoam has some good qualities in terms of it's lightweight. I don't have to spend energy. Um, I can spend less energy on something that's lightweight than something that
Hmm.
maybe I'm not saying styrofoam is good, but it's not always easy to see what's the best practice
I
or
I
what
don't
makes the
like
most sense.
I don't like to keep food in styrofoam. Like if I go to a restaurant and I take food out, get takeout, doggy bag, I take it right out of the styrofoam and wash it. I guess I feel like, and you would know better than I, about the chemicals that are leached into the food, if it's warm and all that. But I don't like styrofoam.
Yeah, I think there's some general principles that we can probably all agree on, or you probably are familiar with, like eat lower on the food chain,
Yeah,
use less complex unknown chemicals.
yeah.
Um, but it's hard to drill down to the truth, and that's one of the things that I think is worth chatting about. What are the maybe it's related to spirituality. Is like what can we agree on here? And there's a lot we can agree on. It's that, and one of the things that's clear is that the folks who own the materials or that are profiting from a practice are less wanting
Oh, yeah.
to change it.
That's definitely true.
Um, I'm not sure I'm very helpful with this, but I just part of the thing I've learned is that I there's a lot that I don't know.
Hmm.
So a certain level of humility can be helpful.
Hmm.
And I'm a little tired of people who just want to see stuff in black and white, like that's bad and that's good. And because it's kind of hard when you get down to it, like, should we stop buying stuff from China? Um, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if we want to pay a whole lot more for stuff, well, like Trump wants jobs to come back to America that are in China now. And I think that's great. I think, we need to employ Americans, but we have to pay Americans what we feel that, they should be able to earn a sustainable living from it. And if we did that, then products would be a lot more expensive. Not that I agree that the Chinese are not paid very much at all. It's I don't know. I don't know what's good to sustain a good economy anymore. Um,
Yeah.
so
No,
I'm
what
just kind of go ahead.
I know. And yeah, it'd be interesting to have the conversation too about, what makes sense.
Yeah. And
Uh,
what makes sense to you may not make sense to me. And we have to accept that with everybody, and what your body is able to take in and process, my body may not be able to. So who can say, what we should even be eating these days?
There's so much, it's so contextual as well,
Yeah.
and it depends on what your values are.
Yep.
But confusion is not necessarily helpful either. So what are those things we can agree on or that do make a lot of sense? And I guess that's one of the things I like about dialogue and listening. I mean, listening is key. It's like, what
Mm.
can we learn from each other?
Yep.
What makes sense in this situation? And how can an open-minded conversation sort of enrich? our understanding of what aligns with us or others. And if you
Yeah,
come to the table with where you've already made up your mind who's right and who's wrong, you're not as likely to hear or expand your perspective.
right. But you know what, though, Leroy? I've found in my 75 years of life that when you think someone is dogmatic about something, don't say anything to them, blah, blah, blah. Say it. And who knows? They hear it. They may not act on it right away, or they may not believe it right away. And if it's not for them, that's fine too. But we shouldn't assume that just because somebody's dogmatic about something that they're always going to stay that way. Like I remember with friends, I would say something, or somebody would say something to me, and I'd say, "Oh, that's stupid," or whatever. And then after I process it, I'm thinking, well, yeah, that might work. What I'm trying to say is we shouldn't stop expressing how we feel just because we think somebody isn't going to believe it or whatever. And same politically too. Of course, that's a whole different realm these days, but
Well, maybe it's similar. And I haven't figured out where I stand on this, but I've had a little bit of uneasiness just about, for example, some of the peace activism. I think we all agree on peace, but it gets politicized so quickly sometimes, and I'm just a little concerned that um, an aggressive posture can alienate folks. And I'm not sure what I'm trying to say here, but um, there has been a lot of polarity, perhaps um, in some of the circles that we've been involved with, and maybe this is just an excuse not to dig deeper. But
yeah.
it seems like we should agree. We should be able to agree on some common principles and practices that bring us together versus divide us.
Well, I know when the Peace Corps was formed back in the 60s, the goal of that was just to go into countries and help them. I had a friend whose daughter was in it, for instance, and then she went somewhere in Africa, and they developed sewage systems for them, or how to purify their water, just basic needs that people, can benefit from. And I think that's a lot of what the Peace Corps did. Um, is it even still around, or did they do away with
No,
that?
I'm pretty sure it's still around.
Okay.
And
Um,
there's also been another version that was based in the U.S.
yes,
AmeriCorps.
AmeriCorps. I wonder if that's still around.
That could be interesting speaker.
Yeah, I know that for some reason, I think maybe funds have been dropped for that. I think part of AmeriCorps was that if you went to college and studied to be a teacher, that part of your tuition or all of it would be paid for if you agreed to teach in the inner city
Mhm.
for so many years.
Yeah, I think one of Molly's friends ended up, I think she was teaching in Baltimore for a while. That
Yeah,
may
in
have
fact,
stayed. Yeah.
your neighbor, Joanne Wettig, do you know who she is?
Hmm.
I think maybe her daughter did that when she went to college, and then she taught in some.
Hmm.
I'm not sure though. I'll have to get. I don't know her that well, but yeah, it benefits the person for getting training, getting their training paid for,
Yeah.
and if they do agree, and when you're young and idealistic, I started out in the inner city of Cincinnati, not through AmeriCorps, but I mean it was hardcore inner city. I taught there about 4 years before I moved up here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was one of President Johnson's target schools, actually.
Hmm.
Paid for a lot of things federally. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Well, this has been an interesting, free-ranging conversation.
Yeah,
Thank you so much
sure.
for tuning in.
Well,
And
thanks for doing this. Just think, you would have had to be here for an hour talking to yourself, but that's not bad.
the challenge is I don't agree with myself
Oh,
most of the
yeah,
time.
I hear you. Me neither.
But
Thank you, Leroy, for instituting this platform. I know you've been doing it for how many years now?
well, this has been relatively new.
Oh,
But it's been about a year. It sort of evolved from a conversation that was I believe it was law of attraction was one of the themes.
oh, yeah, yeah.
And kind of wanted to just expand it a little bit from there.
Mm-hmm.
And probably might change it some more. But if you've got any other thoughts for speakers or topics or formats, I kind of like the idea of the podcast idea and maybe connecting with some of the folks at Fellowship and other
Mm-hmm.
unity, maybe some others that might just want a half hour to share their perspectives
Mm-hmm.
and I don't
Oh,
know. I'm
right, yeah,
open to
that
ideas.
in mind.
Um, and then I've got if you go to leroyharvey.net or www.leroyharvey.net, there is a link to these, and it's one way. If you forget the Zoom link, you can always get it through that.
Okay.
Um,
Harvey.
there's some sustainability stuff too on there, and our green dialogues continue every Wednesday morning, or is it? Yeah, Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock. Everyone's welcome. There's a link there, and we have conversations and speakers about green topics. So you might enjoy
Oh,
tuning into one of those sometime.
okay.
Um, but it's interesting the connections between spirituality and sustainability and um, some of the other things we're interested in.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
thank you. And
Yeah.
as I said in my last email, you're more than welcome to come to our Peace Quest sing out rehearsals and join us next Sunday. If we'd love to have you if you'd like to come.
When is the final?
The final is a week from tomorrow, actually, and we're going to have two rehearsals before then over at the Red Cedar Friends. One on Tuesday. I'll text you the times of them. One on Tuesday and possibly one on Thursday.
If any,
Matt's coming and bringing his microphone system so we can practice with that. But I know you were very, very helpful last year when we did it, and we'd love to have you back.
well, thanks. For anybody that's listening right now and gets this in time, how do they find out about the Peace Quest
Oh,
event?
they can go to peacequest.net, I think.
Okay.
Net. And but what we're doing, and it's a whole month of peace activities. It's part of the United Nations, the local United Nations group, and they've been doing Peace Quests for years now. Just last year, Fellowship agreed to do the sing along, and we're doing it. We're kind of sponsoring it. And if they want to come to the sing along, sing out, it's next Sunday, 6:30 at the Red Cedar Friends. It's free. Come at 6:30, join us in singing. It lasts probably about an hour. We'd love to have you. And Peace Quest organizers would love to have you at any of their events. They have events going on all month. Well, actually, middle of September to the middle of August. We're kicking off the Peace Quest events. It starts They start next Sunday and run for a month, to like October 20 something.
All right. Well, with that, peace out.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you so much. It's been a great conversation.
Yeah,
Thanks,
it's fun.
Julia.
Thanks.
All right. All right. See ya.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See
Bye-bye.
you later. Now, how